all, let us please give a warm welcome to Wayne Kramer. Welcome to the show, Wayne.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm well,
Welcome
thank you.
aboard the Weekly Comet.
It is a pleasure to have you here.
The pleasure's mine. Thanks for the opportunity.
So you've been busy.
I've been busy,
You got
yes.
some things going on. You're
I stay busy.
Composing one of my favorite shows, Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that first and foremost because it's always on my mind. Interesting for those who haven't seen it, HBO show about a former kind of washed up baseball player that hangs on. And one of the interesting things for me is he's such an unsympathetic character, but yet somehow you root for him. Talk about the process of scoring something like that. It's incredibly irreverent comedy. How do you, what's your process on that show?
Well, the two fellas that are the brain trust, Danny McBride and Jody Hill, are music nuts. Like all they do is sit around on their iPads and make lists of songs that they want to use in the show. So they'll usually like load the show's wall-to-wall music, and then there'll be some spots where they'll say, well, we need Wayne to write something in there, and could you write something that would fit there? And then I'll sketch out some things and send them over. And if it's going in the right direction, I'll develop it further. And if not, then we'll throw that away and we'll try something else. So it's a real sloppy, messy, painful process.
But it sounds very collaborative, though.
It is on some levels, and some levels it isn't. But the bottom line is it's a great job. They're terrific human beings to work for and with.
How did you get involved in the show, and how did you make the transition from all your music, stage stuff into film and TV?
Well, at a certain point, I kind of decided that getting in the van didn't quite have the zing.
You spent many years in that van.
And, I really
wasn't as glamorous anymore?
I loved it in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, even in my 50s, but and I always wanted to do music for film and score to picture, television. And so I had this great opportunity to do some work on Talladega Nights.
So great.
They needed someone that could come in and write real aggressive rock for the racing scenes.
You don't know anything about aggressive rock.
I thought maybe I could do that.
MC5, were they kind of aggressive? I don't remember.
I don't know.
And the director of the movie, Adam McKay, is... him and I are kind of like brothers from another mother, politically we're aligned, we're both left of left, and we just found that we got along great. So when they organized Eastbound and Down under their production wing, Adam said maybe that'd be a good job for Wayne, and Danny and Jody actually had the same idea because they were MC5 fans.
Right.
So the whole thing just kind of fell together naturally.
When you get, especially when you hook up with a great irreverent crowd like that, that's top shelf. That's a really strong team. Boom.
And then there's Nelson Algren, which is about the Chicago writer.
Yes.
And that's a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
I work with some guys in Chicago. I've been going to Chicago all my adult life to play, and I know a lot of musicians there. And there was a group of guys there, and we had been talking about doing an experimental music record for a couple of decades. And so finally, the band leader, a guy named Mars Williams, tenor player, got it together, and he said, come on out, we'll record, and we'll do a couple gigs. So I thought, well, I should write some songs, so I got something to bring to the table. What could I write that would be Chicago-centric? And I thought of Nelson Algren because he's one of my favorite authors. And so I wrote this spoken word piece.
Oh, wow.
About Nelson Algren stopped by, kind of an imaginary visit with Nelson Algren. And then we recorded it and all that, and somehow these filmmakers heard the track, and they were working on a documentary about Nelson, and then I guess they thought I was some kind of an authority on Nelson Algren, which I'm not. I'm just a fan.
Oh, no,
right place,
you are.
right time.
You got to just say, oh, yeah.
So the subject, I did an interview with them, and then the subject of music came up, and, I like doing things that I like to do. If it's a project that I think has some substance to it,
right.
That's what I want to do.
Right.
I like the idea of this film, and I volunteered myself.
In case you missed it, the Weekly Comet is now available on demand on emPOWERme.tv. And don't forget to click subscribe so you can leave comments.
Gotta subscribe to be in the game.